Hello. I have showered. I have tallowed. My child is playing outside. I'm looking at the gate, so he cannot escape because he has been doing that a couple of times. He is slowly transitioning out of nap time these past few weeks, although he does still usually need one. He's becoming less willing when the time comes. So my timing and framework around this is changing and it is becoming a little bit more difficult. But that's just an excuse. So here I am, a bit prepared with my stickies. Life is really lifing. I am really sitting in what is this? What are we doing? What am I even doing? What is life? What is death? What is this crazy world we're living in? And not in like a doom and gloom, the world is poisoning us kind of way. Been there, done that. Still trickle in sometimes, but for the most part, I am pretty trusting of the universe. And so past few weeks have been interesting to say the least. The last podcast I did, I left out a small but very meaningful thing that I did that has been really in the forefront of my mind for the last couple of weeks. And that is reading the books Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss. And it is a story of, it's a true story, it's a real story of a psychologist who is treating his patients with a laundry list of psychological issues. The majority of this book is him learning with one of his clients about hypnosis and going into past lives, talking to masters, and kind of helping this lady move through some debilitating illnesses or fears, anxieties, things like that. And at the back of the book, the last chapter, he just kind of explains how these messages and these sessions really took a hold of him, and he started dreaming. And these masters, or I guess God or the universe or source or whatever you see that as, starts coming to him in dreams. And so I'd like to just start this off by sharing one of his dreams, because it is just really solidified the journey that I'm on. And I know that a lot of you all are on too. So, on another night, in a different dream, I was asking a question. How is it that all you say, sorry, how is it that you say all are equal, yet the obvious contradictions smack us in the face? Inequalities and virtues, temperances, finances, rights, abilities, talents, intelligence, mathematical aptitude. The answer was a metaphor. It is as if a large diamond were to be found inside each person. Picture a diamond, a foot long. The diamond has 1,000 facets, but the facets are each covered with dirt and tar. It is the job of the soul to clean each facet until the surface is brilliant and can reflect a rainbow of colors. Now, some have cleaned many facets and gleam brightly. Others have only managed to clean a few. They do not sparkle. Yet underneath the dirt, each person possesses within his or her breast a brilliant diamond with 1,000 gleaming facets, The diamond is perfect, not one flaw. The only difference among people are the number of facets cleaned. But each diamond is the same, and each is perfect. When all the facets are cleaned and shining forth in a spectrum of lights, the diamond returns to pure energy that it was originally. The lights remain. It is as if the process that goes into making the diamond is reversed. All of the pressure is released. The pure energy exists in the rainbow of lights, and the lights possess consciousness and knowledge. And so, without getting too much into it, it's like this idea of Atman and Brahman, Brahman being God, the source, the ocean, and Atman being the soul or a drop of the ocean. And when our soul is done here, it has learned its lesson, it goes into Brahman. So the ocean then takes all of that knowledge and all of that awareness and those lessons and those pains and those traumas and those grief and transmutes it into another life. That could be a little woo-woo for you, but sorry, that's me. So I've been really sitting with that and just really focusing on cleaning my diamond, and helping and sitting with others who are also cleaning their diamonds. And this isn't easy. If you've ever, I think of like working up in the shutdowns in, south of Fort McMurray a decade ago and cleaning that bitumen off of our monitors, like our H2S or bad gas monitors, and how horribly impossible it was to clean that tar, that bitumen off of these monitors. And it it was just a nice little reminder on how hard it is to clean sometimes. But nevertheless, with a little elbow grease and some patience and some grit, the monitors are cleaned. And sometimes you'd have to put it back and start another one and come back to that later. And so that's really what I've just been focusing on. And I think that it's probably going to be what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. So my sticky notes. I read the book Many Lives, Many Masters. I love it. I will reread it. I have borrowed it to my mother, and we'll see how long she has. I gave her like a 3-month period to read it, but if you know my mom, I attended a birth. I attended my first birth that was not mine, and it was great. My best friend is a birth keeper, a traditional birth keeper, and I often get asked, "What is a birth keeper?" And you can, without, getting her in trouble, it's like a doula. A doula, a support person for physiological births, for women who know their power and want support outside of the medical system. Oh, here comes my boy. Just a sec. I am the mom that I never thought I would be. And I have sat my son up with my iPad watching Blippi. Anyways, I don't feel shame or guilt about that either, which I thought I would, but I don't. So that in a nutshell is what a birth keeper is. So my friend and I went to support a birth, and it was unlike most births, but I believe that the outcome was because they trusted in the process. And so my friend called me at about 3 o'clock in the morning, told me that water was broke. My water never broke. You could go 48 hours or longer. It really isn't that big of idea, or it isn't really that big of a, deal. It's not like a timeline, really. And so I'm glad that it all happened the way that it was, because I was like vibing. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like counting hours in my head at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, okay, it could potentially be like this time, or it could be tomorrow. Anyways, about 45 minutes later, she sent me a pin to her location and said, I'm on my way. And so I got up, I got dressed, I got my bag, and I got in my car and I drove there, and I made it to the house at around 4:20 in the morning. And the mom was like full blown labor. Dad was like shell shocked. What the hell is going on? Everything was great. Mom was doing so well, like making all the right noises. Um, she spent most of her time laboring on the toilet, the whole time, pretty much laboring on the toilet, which was a very great tool for me as well. And the baby was born about 45 minutes after I showed up. It took about an hour and a little bit, hour and a half for the placenta to be delivered. All was good. Baby was healthy, happy, everything was great. And then we left. And it was actually my husband's birthday. So that was a little special. I got all my grocery shopping done at, 7 o'clock in the morning, made it home, laid down for a bit until he went golfing, and just went about my day. It kicked the shit out of me. Sleep is very valuable and important to me. And I am learning that. I just spent a good season of 2.5 years without a full night's sleep. And now that I am getting that, I deeply cherish it. And so that was a little bit of a challenge, but it lights you up. Like, there is a post-birth high. And so that was really amazing. And just another like reminder on how miraculous and deeply providing the universe is for those who trust it. So yeah, I've spent just a lot of time witnessing life and death and loss. I've had a couple of girlfriends go through a miscarriage, and so I felt like a little bit of like a ringleader of sorts, holding space and having chats with a few of my friends going through that as well. Very Feeling very content with this timeline of my life. I have had this idea of what my life was going to be, and this past 6 months has really derailed that. And I'm finally feeling a good sense of calm around the situation. I'm able to joke and laugh. I ran into a girlfriend of mine driving in town, and we were racing, and she was complaining about her 2 kids, and I was like, oh, must be nice. And so I'm finally at a place where I can like joke and giggle and laugh and be okay with just the way that my life is working out. And with that being said, I am deeply aware of how unaware most of people living life are. The noticing and the being truly awake to what's going on around you and how people perceive things is it'll never get old. I am I have so many beautiful human beings around me, and some of them are pretty aware and pretty present in the moment, good at witnessing and noticing things around them. And then I have others that are pretty clueless. Um, my my beautiful neighbors, definitely they go hard. They drink fairly often. They party hard. They know how to do it. They do it well. But they're getting older and they're starting to have these ailments and these things come up, tummy issues, just some things. And the way I live my life, I don't hide it. I like to enjoy, I like to consume, but I also know that there is a deep balance. And when you choose to consume poison, you have to be okay with the consequences. And eventually, they're going to catch up to you, and you're going to start thinking about your consumption differently. And so, they've made a couple of comments about supplements and, my medicine practitioner that I go to. And, you can see the intrigue and you can see the interest and you can see the desire, the deep desire that people hold. But they're just quite not, they're not there yet. And that's okay because we're all on our own journey. Um, I've had a couple of job offers. I've had a couple of I'm subbing. I've taught a couple of yoga classes now, and I'm feeling more confident in that. Really trusting that the knowledge is in me and that I can share without fear or, you know, insecurity. I've also came to the conclusion that I do need to continually take different types of yoga classes because I do have my favorite and I am not him, and I need to be consuming and just, mixing the pot a little bit. So I did attend another class and it was just, oh, it was just so good and so rich and so exactly what I needed. I've attended a couple of webinars, a couple of I'm just really reaching outside of my comfort zones right now because I know that when a person, when the human experience finds comfort in more things than the opposite, it potentially is the time to grow and to change and to shift. And comfort as it is not a place of growth. And so I have been feeling some comfort trickle in where I know it is a sign to expand. So yeah, I've gotten a couple of job offers around here. I'm going to be teaching a couple of groups of kids through the fall and winter, which I'm really excited about. And it'll be very interesting, the difference between adults and children, and really just expanding my portfolio of sorts of different styles of teaching, different types of classes. My husband got a promising and very exciting job offer that we are almost like holding our breaths on at the moment. And so by the end of the month, we will hear from that, which is nerve-wracking and super exciting. And regardless of the outcome, it is just so cool to be in partnership with someone that has been, hand selected for quite an interesting role. And so by the end of the month, we'll know more on that, which is cool. We have been in full-blown reno mode around here, mostly outside. We have been doing some landscaping. The people that built this home slash did some additions to it did not the best, not the best, not a professional job. And so we have been kind of for the last 4 years looking at the mess outside, being like, what do we even do with this? And we finally just started digging. we just started digging. We started excavating and smashing and breaking up some concrete that was just not good. And the vision is finally coming. The vision is there. We have some pictures drawn. We have some ideas and some plans made. And it is making me want to stay. It is making me not want to leave. And now with this timeline of um, not having a baby in the fall, I'm like, maybe we should stay. Like this community is just, oh, I love being out here so much. I love this area. I love the people around me. I love that I'm so close to yoga. I have just, yeah, my heart is not sure what I want to do. And thankfully we have time and we have the ability to stay and we have the ability to move. So nothing is set in stone at all. And we are just really trusting that the universe is guiding us in the right direction. So although I feel that I've been extremely busy, I have been really trying to slow down. I have not filled up my calendar like I usually would in the summer. I have been doing minimum and just really being present. My son is just in this beautiful, sweet age of 2.5, and he is starting to talk and just, oh, I'm just witnessing pure magic in him. And this season in life has really told me to just slow down and be present with the absolute miracles that surround me every day. What else? We are going to Reclaiming Evolution, this festival in central northern Alberta, just about probably close to 45 minutes north of where I live, in a beautiful little campground with some unbelievable facilitators and presenters. And I'm very excited to attend such an immersive experience with not only my husband and my son, but with a couple of really good friends. And I know that it is going to provide some deep nourishment and light some fires, some inspiration. And I'm very excited about that. Along with right after that ends, we are going to be road tripping down to our cabin in Hope, BC, just about an hour and a half east of Vancouver, just right after you get over the big Coquihalla, the big mountains. And I get to see my cousins from England. It's a second summer in a row that we get to spend time with family. And I have some older cousins that live in the Edmonton area, and we just aren't very close. There's a good 10, 15-year age gap, some political differences, and I believe just different ways of being, which is all good. And I actually just got a text that we'll see them all soon, but it's hard when some of the coolest and um, just like soul family, like the people that you enjoy spending time with, that it is just family that are so far away. And like I haven't seen most of them since 2015. My cousin got married. And so it's been, it can't be 2015. No, 2019. I'm like, oh my God, it's been a decade. But no, 2019, we went over there for a month and a bit, or a little shy of a month. And yeah, it's been a long time. I'm so excited to see them. It's going to be like a big birthday celebration. My cousin, myself, and my father all share an August birthday, um, scattered throughout the month, but we're all crazy Leos. And so we're going to be celebrating that. The boys are going on a big fishing trip, a sturgeon fishing trip. And I'm just really excited to go down there. If any of you guys know, it's where I spent the first 6 months of Well's life, really. We went down there while Nick was working, and I spent a lot of time alone with a newborn in our cabin, and it was so hard and so challenging. But I miss it. I miss it. I love it down there. It's really as close to paradise as us Albertan folk get. And I have a beautiful friend actually that I met during that time that lives down in Chilliwack, and she is making the trip up here this week, tomorrow, I think. So I'm so excited to see her and to show her my home. We've only ever hung out down in Chilliwack, and so that's really special and exciting. And she's just coming up here for a wedding that's a little bit north from my house. So she's going to use my place as a crash pad. I get to see Tony Hinchcliffe on Friday, and I'm gonna fangirl. I'm gonna fangirl hard. Like, you think I love Honest Dave and the concert that I just went down to in San Diego? Love, but like a different, like I feel like Tony, okay, this is a little weird. I feel like Tony lives in me. I feel like I have a version of Tony Hinchcliffe that lives in me. And if you've ever been witness to his show Kill Tony, it is sometimes absolutely horrible, and other times the funniest thing ever. And I find it hard to explain my deep love for this show because sometimes it is horrible. But I love that it's horrible. I love that it's this live comedy show every Monday on YouTube. They have made a Netflix series or whatever that they're going to be doing. They've only done one on Netflix, I believe. But it's this live comedy show where sometimes it is just horrible and I have to turn it off, and it's just like, well, that was not good. The other times I rewatch the episodes, like they're just so good. Like I cry, I'm crying, like bawling, tears streaming down my face. So good. And I feel like it's just such a great, what is it called when you like it's such a great comparison to like life and this growth and this path that we're all on. And sometimes it's just shit. It's just total shit. And sometimes it is miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle. And no matter what, every Monday it happens. And it's just like life. And so we get to go to that on Friday, and it's Kill Tony and Friends. So it's just some stand up, like a few hours of stand up. And so, yeah, we get to go see that. My husband and I get to go on a little date night, which has been, it's been a while since we've done that. I guess we went to San Diego, but like we just came home and head first into life and haven't really made any more time for connection. So this Friday should be great. What else? I finished my hutch. I finished my kitchen hutch. I haven't actually finished it because I miscounted the knob situation, and there is 9 knobs, and I only ordered 6. And so now I am waiting this lovely Amazon game where they have been shipped, and it says that if they aren't here by the 19th or the 18th, that I can come get a refund. And I'm trying not to spiral about this knob situation because It's not it's not spiral worthy. But the hours and the intention and the vision that I've had for this beautiful piece of like antique furniture that I have spent hours refinishing and painting and sanding and designing and visioning. I need these knobs, okay? I can't post a freaking picture without these knobs. The knobs are deeply important. And so I'm just waiting for the knobs. Um, my mom calls me a knobhead a lot of the time when I'm being retarded. Oops, we don't say that, right? Just kidding. We do say that. When I'm being a little silly, she calls me a knobhead. I don't know why I felt like I needed to share that, but just in case your mom calls you other things, mean names, um, it doesn't mean anything. It's just jokes. Life's nothing and it's everything. And yeah, so I have a little note here that we are here to create, not to consume. I don't know where I heard that. It might have been in this book that I was reading, Many Lives, Many Masters. But I'm really trying to step more into creation and not consuming so much. Um, this world is so full of distractions. This world is, we have everything at our fingertips. And I don't know how good that is for our soul's purpose. And so I'm really trying to shed what I no longer need, removing items and expectations that don't serve the greater good. And so, yeah, I'm in a good place. I'm actually just going to go take some radishes that I let overgrow. They got away from me, and they are like massive, gross, woody radishes. And so I'm going to go feed them to my neighbor chickens and go have a little chit chat with her. And yeah, I guess in conclusion, to wrap this up, I hope that you can sit and spend some time just being okay with how life is right now. And I know that that's like kind of generic and I don't really like hearing that personally. But just sitting and being okay, just witnessing, trusting that, the universe is doing what it needs to do. All while not being a lazy piece of shit. Like actively hearing those whispers and going towards them without pressure or judgment. We all have these ideas on how life is supposed to fold out for us. And it's often based on how we grew up or like the complete opposite, right? There are lots of people that go about life in very opposite fashion as what they grew up with. And others fall into kind of a trap as just a cog in the wheel. And there's just so much more to life than that. And this expression and these tools to help create versus just consuming. And so, yeah, it's been a busy whirlwind of life this past few weeks. And I'm just so deeply grateful for everything, really, everything. I'm so deeply grateful that I got to attend a birth with my friend. That was so magical, and I will never forget that experience. I hope that I get to witness more. I'm just kind of it makes me giggle, but I'm so proud of myself, and I feel such an accomplishment now that I have been teaching a few yoga classes, and I am being drawn to dive deeper into teachings and expanding my catalog. And yeah, really just okay with how life is going. Not being attached to excitement or fear. Definitely not letting fear run my life. Fear grabs a hold of us, and because we don't want this, we cling on to other things, and I'm really trying to not be attached to anything. Letting go, not just in the physical, but in the emotional and the mental aspects of letting go as well. And so yeah, I feel like that's all. I feel like that's good. I really am struggling with the idea of what I want this to be. I refuse to be categorized into some sort of niche. I don't believe that the human experience can be categorized into a niche. But I do know that in order to help people, there does need to be a problem and a solution. And so I'm sitting with that on how I can expand this and my voice to truly serve and help people. Not just, a yoga class, but a bit grander, a bit larger scale than that. And only time will tell. So please take some time over the next week or so, today, preferably today, to just sit, journal, witness, feel some feelings that you are maybe pushing down. Let them come up, have a good cry, maybe go yell, go for a run, do something. My mom's calling me, so I must go.